That's right! It is time once again for the FTFL Weekly Update. It is I, Brett Seaver, host of the show. Welcome back. Oh my goodness. Round one of the FTFL playoffs in the books. And what a couple of games we had. Now I know you look at this week and you think, hey, it's just the first round. The two best teams are on a bye. The toilet bowl teams are all in action. But then, if that's how you looked at it, you completely missed it. Because there were some amazing things that happened. Now, let's start out with the bye week teams for just a moment. The bye week is supposed to get rest, keep the players healthy. That may not be the case for Jeff and Sid. More on them later, but I would not be super excited if I was either of them heading into this week's matchups. Now, the two games on the lucky side of the bracket weren't really much games, if you will. They were kind of blowouts on both ends. The two games on the unlucky side of the bracket, those were much better contests, including, again, one of the greatest comebacks in FTFL history. Now, this upcoming week, the first championship of the FTFL season will be decided, the Consolation Championship. It will also be the fifth place game as well on the lucky side of the bracket. So we definitely have things to look forward to. You know, there are 2 weeks to go, and so I'm thinking we're going to go ahead and get started with the results. Wait, hold on. I have to take a break for this. We've got a surprise guest here tonight. We have one half the owner of the FTFL Studios. Everyone put your hands together, Miss Sarah Sieber. Thank you for coming on the show. She's obviously sharing something with us. I can't see this because I'm not privy to that. I can only assume it's really great information and helpful to the cause. Wow, this is really neat to have her on the show here tonight. Oh, she's smiling. Yeah, she likes the show too. She must be a really big fan. That's awesome. All right, well, there she goes. Wow, that was super cool. Totally unplanned. All right, we're going to get into the show now. First off, the Pack Attack versus the Hulkamaniacs, brother-in-law versus brother-in-law. Now, at one point on Sunday, I was down by over 60 points. 60 points! And then I scratched, and I fought, and I clawed, and I did the kind of things that requires to win an FTFL championship, just like I did back in 2003. And it took until Monday night, and my goodness, it took the very first touchdown by a tight end for me all season to put the cap on the victory and march my way into the Consolation Championship game. Aaron Rodgers was Aaron Rodgers, 26 points. Ty Montgomery is still a running back. It has even been changed in the depth chart, Commissioner. Make it happen. Make it happen. And Martellus Bennett, thank you. 12 points, first touch on the season for tight end. If you're the Pack Attack, everyone not named Mark Ingram, who scored a half point, not named Randall Cobb, who got 3.5 points, or not named Will Fuller, who got 1. All the rest were in double digits. Had a really good week, just not good enough. The brother-in-law falls again. That's twice this year. I got you. I'm going with it. It is absolutely one of the greatest comebacks in FTFL history. And now, all of a sudden, I've got 4 wins in a row. I am the one team that anyone on the lucky side of the bracket wouldn't want to see, wouldn't want anywhere near their team with the kind of streak that I'm on right now. Now, the other game on the unlucky side of the bracket featured Linkowitz, Team Linkowitz, versus the Radioactive Monkeys, who entered with a 5-game skid. Put another mark on the chalkboard. We're up to 6 in a row. Linkowitz, 79.5. Radioactive Monkeys, 64.5. If you're Linkowitz, Matt Ryan was Matt Ryan, 26 points. OBJ was OBJ, 18 points. And definitely enough to squeak by Salty. 6 losses, like I said, in a row. Matt Forte, 0 points. Mike maybe should be done. I think you're kind of past the expiration date, Matt Forte. You were great. Thanks for playing. Moving along. Cam, 10 points. Again, story of, I think, Saltmarsh's season. Some ways was his lack of ability to put the right players in. But then again, it was definitely Cam Newton. And I think Cam got a lot of people this year. So next week we get Linkowitz versus the Hulkamaniacs in the Consolation Championship game. Now, on to the lucky side of the bracket. Like I said earlier, this ended up not being close really in either game. I'm hung up against Ryan D. Some Cities and Balls. 84.5 for Ryan, 52 for I'm hung. If you're Ryan, you survive 16.5 by the 3-headed Raider monster. Crabtree, Latavius Murray, and Amari Cooper. I almost said Amari Toomer, but that's not right. Amari Cooper 16.5 points for the 3. And big day for Jordy. 2 touchdowns, 17 points. Luck added 22. Jeremy Hill, I guess, has given up moonlighting as a garbage man somewhere in Cincinnati and is now playing football full time again. 15.5 points. If you're I'm hung, Dez, I'm worth the first round draft pick. Bryant netted a half point. A half point. That's not even 1 point. That's a half point. 3 wide receivers totaled 2 points. 2 points. Rivers and 2 running backs had 42. The other 6 of my bowls are falling down. Added 10. Now, this really was an interesting game. Swart kind of came in with some momentum. The thought was maybe decent, although I gave him better odds to win. The latest I've heard on this is that is a possibility that Ryan Deesum illegally downloaded a copy of the Crazy Crow and used it this week to beat I'm Hung and send him to the 5th place game. Now, that might just be a rumor. I don't, and so maybe you heard it here first. If that's what the story was, I got the inside scoop. But whatever happened, I'm Hung just didn't have it this week. The other game on the lucky side of the bracket was the Architect versus Bazinga. Another one, just complete blowout. Bazinga 103.5 to the Architect's 53. Almost doubled him up completely. Le'Veon Bell. I can't, the only thing I can picture here is that all of Le'Veon Bell's got together and had some sort of sacrificial ritual before this week. 38 points, 36 carries, 200 and whatever, 34 yards, 3 touchdowns. Come on. Now, the only thing I'd be super nervous about is if you're Le'Veon Bell owners, can he do it again? Can he carry your team again? I don't think so, but then again, he's looking pretty good. Emmanuel Sanders, 17.5, had a nice week. Big Ben, 4 points. Derek Carr, 2 points. The question for Andy going forward is who does he play at quarterback and will they show up? Now, this week, if you're the Architect, round of applause, you got your lineup in. That was good news. The bad news is it just didn't matter. Tyler Eifert, 16.5. Graham Gano, 17. Other 7 combined for 19.5 points. Your running backs, 7 points. They were the strength of his team. Ezekiel Elliott, lowest score of the season. I'm going to tell you what. You picked a bad week to have your lowest score. It cost your man. He now goes to the 5th place game, and Bazinga marches on to face Mana. More on that in a moment. This week, 1 good minute here. So 1 good minute. I'm going to go ahead and cue up the clock here. We haven't done this now in a couple weeks. Been doing some blasts in the past. I didn't quite realize this when it happened. I'm glad someone pointed it out to me now. Here we go. Starting it up. 4 or 5 weeks ago, we all know that Sid traded for Drew Brees. What I wasn't quite paying attention to was the fact that it was a 2nd-round pick for Drew Brees. Now, there are other things involved. But as we all know, and it is well documented and espoused about on this show, when you trade a 2nd-round pick for Drew Brees, you automatically grab the Sharpie. Matt, I know you're sitting there next to it. You got it at home. You're watching the video. Grab the Sharpie and write 2016. Sid traded a 2nd-round pick for Drew Brees. Because that we know from history. Get your name on the toilet seat. Maybe not yet. But if he doesn't quite make it all the way, then I say it's got to be a huge consideration. Also, let me point out that only once since the trade, and that was the very first week, have I lost. I have won now 4 in a row, and part of me thinks that maybe, just maybe, the curse of Drew Brees has been broken. And if that's the case, I thank you, Sid Hagen, owner of the Yankees, for going ahead and changing the future for the Hulkamaniacs. All right, that has been 1 good minute. Now, on to previews for this next week. The consolation game preview, Hulkamaniacs versus Team Linkowitz. The season series knotted up at 1 apiece. 2 of the best quarterbacks in all of fantasy football, Aaron Rodgers versus Matt Ryan. It is obviously going to be super important that they both have the kind of game they can, but then who else is going to step up? Who else is going to fill in? I also want to mention that this is the 2 original combatants in the first ever Gimme One More Chance Bowl. Now, Consolation Championship. First championship handed out this season in the FTFL. Boy, oh boy, would I like to add some hardware to what I have here. Of course, over here, I've got this. I mean, there's room on the table for more trophies, so I hope to bring another one home. Now, the 5th place game for the Architect versus I'm Hung. If the Architect can, again, 2nd week in a row submit a lineup, that would be great. He did win the solo matchup of the year, 91.5 to 87.5, so it was close. There were lots of points. But this isn't just for 5th place. Oh no. Oh no. This trophy has sat here all year, well, mostly all year on my desk. And right now, going to go ahead and tell you that this trophy will be awarded to the 5th place winner. We're going to call this trophy the old 3-fingered salute, or if you'd like, the I didn't spend as much money as Sid Memorial Trophy. But this 5th place winner, Adam, Matt, this is what's at stake this weekend, so don't mail it in and play kicker versus kicker, or you'll owe $5 as well, and you might just miss out on the 3-fingered salute. Now, on to the 2 big games. Oh my goodness, semifinal action, FTFL, lucky side of the bracket. Bazinga, 8-6 versus Manamana at 10-3. They split the season series. Some questions that come up in this game. Will Brady Brown and David Johnson be enough? Now, those 3 guys have carried Jeff's team and have helped him get to where he's at. The one guy, though, that has put him over, and the reason I believe that Jeff is 10-3, is Melvin Gordon. Melvin Gordon may not play, and if Melvin Gordon doesn't play, is that enough? Will Le'Veon Bell, on the other side, for Andy, have another career day? Will Big Ben or Derek Carr show up? Who do you start, and will they play? This game should be great. If I'm Jeff, I'm not feeling super confident. I don't think there's any reason for Andy to not have confidence coming off of last week's performance. That's on the one side of the lucky bracket. On the other side, Ryan Deason's Titties and Balls at 10-4, taking on Kramerica. Oh, scratch that. The Yankees at 9-4. Will the real Drew Brees please stand up? You went all in. You don't have a first-round pick next year. You don't have a second-round pick next year. And now Drew Brees' right arm has smooth fallen off. Dude, what are you going to do? No, I didn't say that right. What you going to do, brother, when Drew Brees takes the field and his arm isn't with him, but over on the sideline getting massaged by one of the people that take care of those kind of things? Well, I mean, that's the big question. I think this week ultimately comes down to Drew Brees. Will T.Y. Hilton cancel out Andrew Luck? That's a big question, potentially. Will the Raiders get back on track? Diesel's been carried all season by that Raiders 3-headed monster. Will they show up in this game? Will all of the money Sid spent go to waste? And with that, will the Crazy Crow come back into illegally download a copy of the Crazy Crow? Rumor, might I add. Should be amazing. I have one last point. Kramerica did take the season 2-0. So he's going for 3. Now, it's not often we see a team beat another team 3 times in 1 year. But that's why we play the games. We're going to wrap this up here. Stud of the week, Le'Veon Bell, 38 points. It wasn't even close. Closest to the highest point total of the year. I think maybe that was Matt Ryan at 40. Dud of the week, Des Bryant, half a point. Good luck getting a first-round pick for that sport. Decent update. I already talked about it. It's the Yankees. You traded a second-round pick for Drew Brees, and we know that gets you on the toilet. Guaranteed lead pipe lock. All right. I'm super pumped about the games this week. I hope you are as well. Thank you for watching. Only 2 more weeks to go. Next week, we preview the FTFL Championship game, and I bring you a very special Christmas edition of the FTFL Weekly Update. Till then, my friends, it is Brett signing out.